All right, Data, what is this?
Hello and welcome to your weekly show and tell. That's right, every week at 7:30 p.m. Stop, drop, roll, and get your computer so you can watch Adafruit Show and Tell. Broadcasting live from the Adafruit headquarters. It's me, Lady Ada. With me is Mr. Lady Ada. But right now, we're here to hang out and watch what the community is up to, because that's right, Show and Tell is all about you, the viewer, and what you are making, crafting, 3D printing, sewing, extruding, soldering, what have you. We'd love to see it. It doesn't have to be Adafruit stuff. It can be anything you like. We're going to be here for about 25 minutes, get out of here at about 7:50. So we'll call on people when we call on you, unmute your mic, take 2 to 3 minutes to show off your project so we can get to everybody. We're going to start with some Adafruit folks, and we'll try to get to everybody super fast. All right, Scott, Game Boy, what's going on here?
Hello. I've been working on the Game Boy late at night because I'm going to Pi Cascades this weekend, which is here in Seattle. So if you are a Python person, CircuitPython person, and near Seattle, you should definitely check out Pi Cascades. It's Saturday, Sunday, and then sprints are on Monday. I'll be at all 3 of those things. And I wanted to show CircuitPython running in a Game Boy. This is not a new project, so I have shown it off on here before. But what it did last time is that it scrolled Adafruit down vertically and then played music. And I've been working on understanding when the VSync happens, because that's when I can write stuff to this display. So what I have it doing is it scrolls Adafruit left to right or right to left after it drops down. So that's CircuitPython acknowledging that the VSync happens. And while it's doing this, it is still able to play the music as well. Which
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Nice. All right. You got graphics, you got motion.
Yeah, so working on getting graphics working, and the interrupt stuff also applies to the buttons. So if I think if I hit a button, it's not doing anything, but getting it going. It will.
All right, looks amazing. And then you said Pi Cascades. What is that?
Pi Cascades is a regional Python conference for Vancouver, Canada, Portland, and Seattle. So last year it was up in Vancouver. This year it's in Seattle, and next year it's in Portland. So there's a lot of core devs in the area, so it should be really, really good. And I should also, actually, I just found this DMG as well, which is cool. So all the Game Boys.
So you're gonna bring all sorts of goodies.
I'm gonna have lots of goodies. I will have Circuit Playground Expresses for the sprints as well. So people should definitely stop by.
All right, and if you're in the area, go to Pi Cascades
and
visit. There'll be some fun CircuitPython stuff happening. Thank you, Scott Game Boy. Next up, Noah and Pedro, what you extruding?
Hello, hey everybody. We got another Cartoon Network / Microsoft Make Code project. In the past, we made the Rose's Shield. We did Pearl's wand. John Park did really cool the gauntlets and some gems. And when all of those combine together, they form, bam.
Pull it out of your mouth. You have to pull it out of your. Oh, yeah, is it your head?
Lava or something. I don't know. You can watch.
Okay.
Cool. So foam construction, of course, Circuit Playground Express is powering everything. You got alligator clips. You can see on there that is super easy to hook up to the alligator clip NeoPixel strip on here. Full.
Don't eat the sword.
Well, that's how the.
That's what happens. Yeah, that's how it's forged. So, like,
oh, sorry.
There's like lava in the mouth. And, like,
yeah. It's pretty badass.
But fully editable. All the vectors you can get. But one of my favorite swords so far because all the textures and all that cool stuff, especially with the cross guard, the way that they made that. I think it's modeled after the flame sword from Zelda. So might use this for a future model when we do get back to 3D printing for these. But check this out on the 3D Hangouts today. We talk a full hour on how to do the cutouts for this, some techniques for cutting out all the kanji lettering that's on there. It's actually all handmade. I don't have a laser cutter, so I had to do that all by hand, meticulously, but looks pretty good. Just spend some time on that.
I like the foam core styling. It's you know, you don't need a 3D printer. Just cut it out by hand.
2.5D. Yeah, it's just layered on top with the hot glue, and super easy build. Great for schools, workshops, all that. Very nice. It's like $1. You need like one sheet of this.
I know, right? Those sheets are so big.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Okay, and then there's the guide that went up, and then y'all working on some other exciting stuff
Yeah.
next week.
Should we cover it or?
Nope, we'll have to save it for next week. There's more
We'll
people.
save it next week. All
Okay.
right. Keep them
Thanks,
coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next up, Brent.
Hello. The past week, I have a Pi portal, and I've been working on. Let's see if we can see it. It might be a really bad reflection.
Oh, yeah.
Getting Adafruit.io working with Pi portal. So Lydia wrote a really cool ESP32 SPI driver, and then Maker Melissa wrote a Wi-Fi client to interface with it. So this is a wrapper on top of that, and you can do all of the Adafruit.io API functions. And the Pi portal has an AT7410 on the back of it, and it can do temperature sensing. So it's sending the data to an Adafruit.io feed within a group. So the API for the groups and the feeds work. And I'm finishing up this week, and there will probably be a guide later this week to early next week about it.
I'm so glad that Adafruit.io was designed to make it easy so that once you got requests working, it was like really trivial to authenticate and send data over a secure connection. Super cool.
Yeah.
And you're an expert. You did this in like 2 days. Amazing.
Yeah, it was 2 days. Thanks to you and Maker Melissa for doing all the groundwork.
Thanks to Python requests library, which is what it's like I just did what they did and it like all came together. So sockets and requests, they really figured it out. I'm glad that after 25 years, we're really good at making network APIs. Everybody can watch out for that. And then you did a Wi-Fi stepper library this week, right?
Yeah, I posted it on the learning system. I did a Raspberry Pi based Wi-Fi stepper driver, so you can control 2 stepper drivers with 1 Raspberry Pi over Adafruit.io. There's a nice dashboard for it. You can control the amount of steps you can take. But also, if you want to do more advanced things, it's on Python on Raspberry Pi. Maybe you want to pull in the weather outside and raise or lower the windows in your house or something like that.
Yeah. Internet I/O robots for good, not for evil. All right. Thanks, Brent. And then look out for Brent's guides. He published like 4 or 5 in the last month, and it's going to be another one maybe next week on this Pi portal Adafruit.io rest. So finally, Adafruit.io comes to CircuitPython.
It's been there, but now it's on CircuitPython microcontrollers.
That's really happening. Small things. Okay, sweet. Next up, JP.
Hey, hello. So I'll tell you what's in the workshop. I am doing a sort of internet literary inspirational type of project this week, and this is using the Pi portal, which I'll show in a second. But what I wanted to do is find a cool enclosure for the project, and these are, rather than hollowing out a book, I found sort of these fake hollowed out books at a hobby shop that are just meant to hold something like a deck of cards or your jewelry or whatever. And so I've mounted a Pi portal in here, which is, I think, a nice way to do an enclosure without, again, laser cutting or 3D printing. And so you can see here, I've got my Pi portal mounted inside of a different one. This was the Joker, or the Jack, rather. And this project is actually using a Adafruit script that we have at adafruit.com/quotes. And if you query that PHP, you get returned a little JSON 2 sets of data that give you a quote and the author of the quote. And so this CircuitPython program displays those, and it chooses a different location and typeface for the quote versus the author. And what I've got it right now set to is every 20 seconds, I think it is, I'm querying that script again and grabbing a new one. You can set that really easily in the script. I think by default we'll have it at a minute, but just to see it displaying here, we've got a custom bitmap in the background, 32240, with a little Adafruit logo, and then we have the text showing up on that, and all that is running on our Pi portal. Plugged in just for power over USB, but it's easy to keep it plugged in to adjust the script if you want on your computer as well. So come on by the workshop tomorrow, where I'll go into how to build that and some other approaches I took and steps I took along the way to.
Very inspirational for people who get their inner voices from Adafruit and have a quote on them. Maybe they want more quotes. If you like those quotes, and if people have quotes that they would like, submit them to the support contact forum. Don't forget to tell people, like, people submit quotes all the time, they suggest things, and then we add them to the quotes collection. That's how we have so many good quotes.
That's right. And, the thing I'm excited about also learning about this, because I haven't done much with these types of queries and parsing JSON, is that now I can start to look around out there for other databases of quotes and things like that I can pull from. If anyone knows where there's like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy one, I think that would be a lot of fun.
I do know that if you Google around, there's a dad joke of the day. You might like that one. I know you're a big fan of dad jokes.
A little too on the nose.
I know. Google for it. I can't remember. It's probably like dadjokeoftheday.com, but like look it up. I think it's almost the same. Awesome. You can make a joke with it.
We're going to go to Mike, and then we're going to go to Chris.
All right, Mike.
Hi, guys. This week, the guide that I've contributed, besides helping others contribute guides, is using the Circuit Playground. Lamore hasn't overly advertised this, but she did put the light sensor near the NeoPixels such that if you put something like your finger right here next to them, you can use a little CircuitPython and get a reading of your pulse. Now, I'm not going to say mine is horribly accurate because I have the wonkiest little heartbeat ever, but there's a new guide and you can load it up, and it doesn't take any parts other than the normal Circuit Playground and your USB cable, and you can go and play with that. And it's past Valentine's Day for your heartbeat, but it's useful. You could actually animate a other wearable using your heartbeat or something. There's other ways of doing it. So
we have we have the Pulse Room project. You could rebuild that with your Circuit Playground, where it lights up your room. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. So
cool.
It's just a few lines of code and you can make it your own.
All right, check out that guide. It's live now. All right. Thanks, Mike. All right, Chris. Welcome back.
Wake up, minimize window, go to sleep. Can you see a picture of my dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that I have some very sad news to report, that my dad lost his battle with cancer on February the 9th. And he's probably the greatest maker that I ever knew in my life. Everything that I ever built, actually he did the physical build. I just did the design and the schematics and the software. It goes all the way back to my remote control remote that I first showed on Show and Tell 6 years ago. My Ultimate Remote version 1, Ultimate Remote version 2. These are all things that he built for me. All sorts of brackets and adaptations to my wheelchair to mount things for me. This is a floating motorized chair that I used to swim in our cabin at the lake in southern Indiana. This is our cabin that he and his friends actually built themselves. He had someone put in the concrete block for the basement, but everything else, all the framing and construction, he did it himself with his friends. This is a boat dock and a rowboat that he made. This is a pontoon boat that he made for us. His trade was as a sheet metal worker, so he could make anything out of metal, but he was also a good carpenter and plumber and everything else. He built an addition on the back of our house. We didn't have room in the kitchen for a dishwasher, and my mom made him build an addition, which by then it grew into a family room and a bedroom. He says it was the most expensive dishwasher he ever saw. So this is where he built the addition on the back of our house. The firm that he worked for did a lot of architectural sheet metal work, and these are the brass doors on the front of the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral downtown. And when they refurbished the cathedral, he took down the doors and refinished them and reassembled them, and hundreds of people walk through these brass doors every week that my dad refurbished. In downtown Indianapolis, there's something called the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. And this is a view at the top of it, the metal framework where the windows go. And if you look at it close up, you can see little metal loops. Every year they hang strands of Christmas lights from those and turn the entire monument into a giant Christmas tree. And my dad installed all of that. He also is, one of his bosses where he worked, did a lot of metal sculpture. And this is a metal sculpture out in front of a hospital somewhere, I think in Ohio, that Dad helped fabricate and install. He made things for my church. This is a beautiful Advent wreath that he constructed. This is a baptismal fountain that he constructed based on the design of someone from our parish. A close-up view at the top of the baptismal fountain. He crafted that out of metal. Made a really nice little sundial that sits in our backyard. This is a piece of equipment that tests turbine blades on jet engines, and he helped fabricate the box and install the equipment. So you may have flown on an airplane whose turbine blades were tested on a machine that my dad helped to construct. This is a very precious item to me. This is a button. It's just a simple switch with a jack on it. And probably sometime in the near future, I'll be moving into a skilled nursing facility. My sister's taking care of me right now, but at some point we're going to have to move on. And I'll need a nurse call button. And my dad soldered this wire, this jack, up for me exactly 1 month before his funeral. It's the last thing that he ever soldered. And so I just wanted to stop by today and pay tribute to the greatest maker that I ever knew, and that was my dad, Kenny Young.
Thank you so much, Chris. What a fantastic tribute to a great person. He was always helping you behind the scenes. I think we've said hi a few times, but this is a great way to have everyone get to meet someone through the things they make and all the things that you've shared with us. So thank you so much.
May his memory be a blessing.
I was honored to give the eulogy at his funeral, and I'm putting together a transcript of it for my blog, and it has more details about some of the things that I've talked about this evening, and it'll have photos and I'm putting that together, so it will be up on my blog probably in a few days, and I'll post a link on Discord, and so I can share that with everybody.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up. Hello, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
You're going to make me follow that, huh?
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I've actually met Kenny. He was an absolutely delightful man.
Yep.
I went and was in Indianapolis, and I'll be back again in 2 weeks. So Chris has already got me signed up for soldering when I get there. But no, Chris, that was wonderful. I'm glad you shared all that. I actually, I'm gonna have to fly through my stuff. So let me get started. So I've been probably as are you all screen sharing yet?
Yeah, we're screen sharing.
All right, let
You
me.
can see us.
You can see you.
Yeah.
All right, can you see that now?
Yeah, at least
All right,
Kim.
good.
Happy
So over
Kim.
the last month, I've probably been as busy as we've ever been. This group of people is from the ATIA Maker Day on February 2nd. And this is not the number of people who attended. These are all the cats that I needed to herd to actually make this day happen. It was crazy. These are all from 5 different robotics teams and 4 university STEM groups and a bunch of AT people and a bunch of nonprofits all got together to take over Saturday at ATIA and teach people how to make stuff. So we taught the kids how to deal with folks in wheelchairs, how to get down at their level and speak to them. And Jane Odom on the right kind of gave a great speech in the beginning to get everybody launched well. And then we taught a ton of people. Probably 700 people came through. At least 500 of them learned to solder, learned to use Instamorph, learned to adapt a toy. They were everywhere. It was crazy. This is a bunch of kids from robotics teams. So these are kids from UF. These are from Indiana, actually pretty near Chris. Here's folks from University of Florida area. And they all got to teach people what they had done. So this is GRIP, Generational Relief in Prosthetics. They're from the University of Florida. And these are all either prosthetics or adapted controllers that they've made. And here they're explaining that to somebody who came up and asked them. This is great for the kids. It not only lets them show off what they're doing, but it gives them a lot of experience in presenting to professionals. So these are a couple of high school girls, lots of girls you'll notice. Lamore will like that. It really brings a lot more females in when you get engaged. When you get engaged in helping others and not just the robotics part of this. One of the biggest things that happened was this. You might have seen it on Make Magazine. We adapted a magic wheelchair for this young man right here. So we had a lot of fun. This is Alex. He is 16 years old, and we made him an awesome bumblebee. So the folks at Maker Effects and I and a couple other maker groups in the area went crazy and turned this into an awesome device. There's a write-up in Make, and you can see how we did it. That's the kind of the core crew who did it. Folks on the right are from Magic Wheelchair in Portland, and it was a blast. This one actually shows kind of Alex's view in the upper left, and also it'll show a lot of things that are yours, Adafruits. So the NeoPixel rings and the display. This is actually a capacitive touch button I made out of conductive filament. Lots of stuff. You absolutely were the reason we could make this happen. So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for making such cool stuff.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah.
This is actually powered by 2 Teensies and a lot of custom electronics and lights. This is at the same show. I showed the Microsoft XAC controllers a couple weeks ago. And this is actually one of the attendees using the ones that look like glasses to drive around with his head. And this is a neat picture of ATIA. You'll see the gentleman at the left is deaf, so he has translators behind me talking. It is a really neat show where you kind of are embedded in the AT industry. So it's definitely a neat place to go. I had one free day, so we took Dan and Carol out to the island. So that's Dan Halbert from Adafruit. He came down and we got him out to the island. Off to Portland, taught more people to solder, including this guy who's Luis Perez. A lot of people in my industry know him, and he's blind. He has a 5-degree field of vision. We taught him to solder anyways. We went to Seattle. And that is Seattle. It does not look like Seattle. It was not fair. We went out there, and I actually put my wife to work and made her shovel the snow. But that's Seattle in the biggest snowstorm they've ever had. And then we met this guy. And this is actually the thing I'm going to show live today. If you guys remember about 6 months ago, Lamore, you added the sip and puff or the ported pressure sensor. So we've succeeded with that. We actually made him this device, which is a prototype. And I'll show you the final one here. But we were completely able to move him to using this to use sip and puff Morse code to type. So I'll show you very briefly, if I can, the actual new one. Stop sharing. Maybe. Here we go. Can you guys see me again?
Yeah.
Hopefully. All right. I really am going as fast as I can, I promise.
No, it's cool.
All right.
All right, good. So, all right. So this is the more finished version. You'll see it's got the NRF 840 in here. I am anxiously awaiting the HID support, the Bluetooth HID support for that. But you'll see.
I hope you took Dan to a really nice restaurant.
I did. I know the right. That's why I took him out to an island. I took him to a deserted island. If that doesn't get it done, what's going to get it done, right? So here's the 840, and you'll see in there, I did have to do something kind of funky in order to get this tube to stay on. I actually had to have it go through these 2 frictional rings. These are too small for it, so it actually holds it in place. I'm working on that. I think one thing to mention, if you're ever going to use this, is it needs a 2.5 millimeter interior or internal diameter hose, and that is not standard. So it's possible to buy it, but it's not something you're going to find at your local Lowe's. So I might, give you a request to update that guide. But once that was done, this will work great for him, and it works great. It does all of the keystrokes now. It does not do mouse support, and it doesn't do some of the other stuff his current device does. But he's got it tuned well, and it works fantastic. And I couldn't be much happier that we were able to get that done for him.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill. What a whirlwind, but that's really exciting. I'm glad the sip and puff sensor. That's why I carry that sensor. I was like, I want a ported pressure sensor for sip and puff. I knew you would figure out a way to do it. So
yeah, you add stuff, and we'll find a way, right?
I know. All right. Thank you so much.
Right. And it's just a good reminder for everyone. We didn't set out to do assistive technology, but when you do open source, you give things away, you'll be surprised and delighted where it can go and who can help. And if you're not thinking about helping folks, there's lots of ways to do it. Just even releasing code and hardware can get you there.
Come see me. I'll put you all to work.
I know.
All right. So we're going to go to Dan and then Eduardo. If you can keep it to like a minute and a half each, we can get to everyone today.
Thank you.
Hey, Dan.
A lot of people.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear and see you.
All right, great. Last week it was a little tough, but okay. Well, I wanted to just briefly go over what I had last week. I'm working on this custom feather wing that is used for e-paper displays, and I've been playing around with wave share displays, and I thought, well, I have this custom feather wing. I thought, well, maybe I wonder if the Adafruit e-paper device would work, and I tried it out, and I was able to get it to work.
Oh, great.
So, and I wrote a program that this is your the Adafruit quotes application.
Wow, it's quotes week.
Yeah. So this is running on a Huzza 32 feather, and I got the exact same custom feather wing that was working on the wave share. I got this working on the Adafruit device, so I'm just kind of debugging it now. But so that was my work in progress this week.
Excellent.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dan.
Hey.
And if you want to stick our email support at Adafruit, we'll send you out one.
All right.
It'll fit on that back of that breadboard. All right, Eduardo, thank you for being so patient.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm on the road. I'm in kind of a coffee shop that's got a lot of ambience. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the short story of my first CircuitPython sketch.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and do a screen share. It's my first time, so hope this works. I thought of this as I was donating at the Red Cross. They used to ask me to donate blood, and then they said, what about donating platelets? So instead of stretching out one arm for 6.5 minutes, I have to stretch out 2 arms for 2.5 hours.
Mm.
2.5 hours, both my arms are literally pinned in place. But Adafruit came up with a solution for me because I had a bit of a tech problem, and I'm going to share the screen. This is video from me donating at the Red Cross, and everything graphic is covered up, but in case anybody's really sensitive, you might want to avert for just a second or two. Now,
I think everybody will be okay with this one.
Well, look at kittens.
Okay.
I think okay.
Now, are you seeing?
It's not screen sharing yet. Oh, no,
there you are. Okay.
Yep.
You're pinned in place.
Yep.
All right, that's me. And
like you're watching some good videos.
I'm watching videos, but with both my arms pinned in place, I can't really mouse normally. But look what I've used instead.
Oh.
It's Circuit Playground Express with my first sketch on it. And what am I watching?
I've seen on Show and Tell, this very show. You can watch yourself next time you go in.
Oh, this is great.
That's right. My very first CircuitPython sketch was a Tilt-A-Mouse sketch, which I figured would be exercise number 3 in the beginning CircuitPython workbook. But for me, it works. And it's a solution. Now I don't know how to unscreen share. Goodness.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. This is an excellent first project. I guess we'll keep making circuit playgrounds and doing shows because people need platelets. So I guess we'll just keep this up.
Well, I can tell you that because of this, my appreciation for the work that Bill and the AT makers are doing for people that really do need assistive technology took a giant step forward. So I'm saluting Bill and the AT makers from here.
Yeah, and with the Tilt-A-Mouse, actually, some of that HID work came from Dan Halbert, who's also making assistive tech. And we saw like HID, that's why we like building it in. It's so great. You can interface with any program and you just need 1 or 2 buttons, or maybe you need motion. And that's why it's such a core part of the Python experience. We love it. It just makes assistive tech like so much easier.
All right. Well, email support at adafruit.com. We'll send you some orange juice and cookies. I think they give that after you get one. Or we can send you a sticker. But thank you so much. And this is another great reminder. Assistive technologies for everyone. It really is.
It's for everybody. Even if you don't think you need it, you're going to need it.
It's the thing that brings us all together.
All right.
We all need it in
Technology
some way.
for good.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Pedro, thank you, Mike B. Thank you, GP, Eduardo, Dan, Brent, Bill.
And thank you again so much, Chris, for that touching tribute to your dad.
And thanks, Kenny, for everything you did for Chris.
All right. Ask an Engineer starts in just another minute. Thank you, everyone, for making this one of the best 30 minutes we get every single week. We'll see everybody next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Ask an Engineer starts in now. Bye.
See you soon.